Hi, I'm Ross Waters with Trackside Model Railroading. I'm here with Mike McGinley. It is Southwestern Pacific Railroad. It is BNSF in 2001.
Yep, thank you, Ross. What we have, the Southwestern Pacific, in my imagination, is a sort of a joint facility that at one time the Santa Fe and the Southern Pacific ran on and evolved through the years to where now obviously it's BNSF and UP. I trade the rolling stock back and forth between the different companies, and I can change the eras by retiring the new equipment and running older equipment and finally get back to where I would love to be, Black Widow, Southern Pacific, and maybe even steam engines. So that's the theory, is it's a changeable era, flexible location. The scenery has been the most fun of all because that's where I went on vacation. These are mountains I saw when I would drive to Colorado to see the narrow gauge or drive up to the forests of Northern California, Oregon, or Washington. And I've had a lot of fun with the scenery. When we moved into this building, which is a garage with an 11-foot ceiling, and I was able to expand the sky upward, it really has a sense of open space, which I think is a lot of fun compared to layouts that have a very nicely done background scene that's only 3 or 4 feet away from your eyes. So I've tried to make it an open air outdoor experience, just like I had a career in railroad civil engineering, roadmaster, division engineer, construction superintendent type work, where I was out with this equipment. I worked with dual control switch machines and setting the track to gauge and with all the people that made it happen. So this is, in a way, another day of work, but it's not, but it is. So there we go.
Well, the last time we were here, it was the Union Pacific, and they were patching Southern Pacific units. And we've actually backdated back in time, correct?
A little bit, yes. 2001. We now have quite a few Santa Fe and Burlington Northern engines that have patches that say BNSF. The BNSF did it rather artistically. They put a green patch on a former BN engine and they put a yellow patch on a former Santa Fe engine. But you look close, they'll tell you that this is Burlington Northern Santa Fe. Of course, we've got an Amtrak train in the picture. And there's a few war bonnets, which are probably the most fun of all for people to see when you're out on the railroad.
Before, when we were here, the Amtrak station was an intermodal facility, and you've switched that out. You've also added power and lighting to this. You also did that with the intermodal?
The intermodal facility fit on the same footprint. The station platforms and the intermodal concrete ramps were the same physical infrastructure. The Union Station represents trains can go east and west. There's a local train of Amfleet and Horizon cars here that will depart going the opposite direction. Of course, it's not going to go anywhere because it's a solid wall.
But you've got a mirror showing.
Yeah, but the origin of most of the trains is here in what we call Patrick Yard. There is a hidden storage on the other side of the wall. Access is through a place we call the Rat Hole, which is actually a prototypical place name on the Southern Pacific. And then trains climb up through the mountains, pass through this town of Paseo, get further up into the mountains, and end up at Anytown, USA, which I've named McDonald, which happens to be the last name of the lady I married and watched all this go together. So, of course. So it's then the trains can reverse. They can run continuous laps at the higher level. If they reverse, you come back the same way, either terminate in the hidden storage yard or in the yard here. And a full day of about 16 train moves takes about 8 hours for one person to run. I don't do that very often, but I can move all the cars in a card system and pretend that I'm actually running a railroad. But I'm too much of a rail fan. When I go to run it, I end up stopping and taking pictures with my cell phone most of the time just because it's so much fun.
Is that why it takes you 8 hours, or is it 8 hours of actual operations?
It's pretty close to 8 hours of operation because you are sorting. A fair percentage of that is just being a yard master or a terminal superintendent and getting all this stuff organized. It takes management skill to run a railroad, no matter how big the cars are.
So
that's why I love unit trains.
Yeah.
There are no car cards for the unit grain train. It just comes and goes. That's easy.
So we'll start here. We'll talk about your silos, your town, and then we'll move our way through. So we'll head on down that way.
Thank you.
This month's full feature movie includes both visits to Mike's Southwestern Pacific, with never-before-seen footage from our prior video shoot based in 2006, when the Union Pacific owned the line and was patching SP units after the merger. The full movie takes you in-depth on the railroad, including rail fanning for the two eras, with 2006 Union Pacific motive power and the BNSF in 2001, along with Mike's interview in its entirety and a cab ride.